All right, welcome to another episode of the Slack Doctors. I am Dr. Chip.
I am Dr. Bob.
And no guest today, and hopefully this will be the last of the morning sessions.
It is.
Don't schedule any more of these 10 in the morning sessions. This is just too damn early. I just can't get myself really motivated to do much of anything at this early. I could even ride the motorcycle, but I was like, I'm just not awake enough yet to ride the bike down here. But anyway, so
you said you say that. I didn't have to do anything other than, get in the shower and assemble my makeshift studio here in the apartment, and even I feel like it's a little early.
Yeah. Yeah, see, we're not morning people. We're not.
No. And certainly none of our guests have been or ever will be morning people.
No, yeah. We'll never get any guests show up this early. But not only that, I mean, I just never have been. I mean, I always get up early, but I mean, unless I really have to. Like, truthfully, when I had the crane business, I would get up early and go out and do stuff. But that was only a couple hours at a time, and then I came home and went back to bed. So, but I've never really. You've never really. I mean, other than the auction warehouse thing, you never really had a day job either, right?
No, that's not true.
Oh, that's right. You worked at Howley's during the day.
Last year, or at least of my managing at Howley's, I was the day guy.
Yeah, that's true.
And especially for Sunday brunch and stuff like that, you got to be there at like 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever. So yeah, it's funny. The older I get too, and especially now living in this town, if I do have stuff to do, I do try to do it early in the morning. Traffic in Gainesville is hideous after like pretty much noon, but most of these kids can't get up that early. So you do everything before 10 a.m. There's no traffic on the road.
Yeah, traffic down here, even at 10 a.m.
kids are in class and everybody else is asleep.
Right. Yeah, you would think by, 9 to 10, the traffic would be a little lighter down from Lantana to Boca, but not so much. It was still, it's still pretty hectic. And people are just nuts, man. They're just crazy how they drive.
Again, further south you go, and it seems like the closer to the ocean, it brings out the insanity.
Yeah, good point. So you said you had a couple of news nuggets?
A couple of things. I don't know if they call them news nuggets or not, but a few articles that I saw over the last couple of days that piqued my interest. And one is based on a subject that we talk about a lot, and it gets a lot of talk on a lot of podcasts, and that's AI music. So I don't know if you've seen this headline floating around that the number one country song in the United States or whatever on whatever billboard is an AI song. Very misleading article, and it's been picked up by a lot of different podcasters. And I want to start by even apologizing for giving the story any more traction or attention. Well, we're not going to be playing the song or anything, but Rick Beato's video more than sufficiently covers it. What they did, it is an AI song, and it's terrible too. I got to say, it's the most cliche country lyrics, wailing, spiritual sounding voice kind of crap. The name of the band is the name of the creation is Breaking Rust, which might be some kind of fart joke from the Midwest or something. I'm not even sure if it's an inside joke or not.
Fart joke.
But the way it's not on the top of the billboards by any stretch of the imagination. All it is it's got the most downloads. So clearly somebody either, orchestrated a Bitcoin something to buy these downloads or trick the algorithm or something, because if you go and look at the actual human reviews of the song, it gets trashed constantly. Although I wouldn't be surprised if within the next 2 weeks or so, Rogan brings it up and plays it on his podcast, because
you'll absolutely get a curiosity factor
and whatnot.
Yeah. But that I think what they're also trying to prove is that the whole ranking system is rigged. Like, this song is number one, or this. They buy the downloads, and that's. I mean, isn't that what somebody was accusing Beyonce of doing that with the country song, right?
Yeah. It's just gaming the system. It's just a new way of gaming the system surely with algorithms and bots, as opposed to even paying people off.
I believe we had a guest on the show that accused Post Malone of buying downloads, and that's how he got famous. You remember that?
No, I don't.
I believe that was episode number 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my God, that's so far ago.
Yeah, right.
So long ago.
I believe they made that point that that's how these people are getting famous. They're paying, they're paying for downloads, and that gets them on the spotlight. And there you go. Yeah, interesting.
Right. And speaking of news nuggets that will probably pique Rogan's interest, the next one does as well. I don't know if you've seen any of the headlines about the Olympic IOC committee finally releasing these supposedly very stringent and emotionless standardized testing and scientific, basically they're saying no more allowing of trans athletes to compete in the Olympics. They finally jumped on board with the rest of all of recorded history and observation to say that, in fact, there is an advantage to being born male. There's a difference between men and women. We're not going to let them compete in the same sport. So I don't know if they're going to retroactively change any records or medals or whatnot that have been won previously. But going forward, I guess that's the new plan, is back to the old ways for the.
So basically, I guess they just test everyone. They can't selectively go, that chick looks like a guy. They got to just basically test everybody randomly, I assume, right?
Yeah, probably.
Interesting. Who cares?
Unless they're going to do it via the Pope's chair, an actual manual, unlikely.
I mean, who cares? It's the Olympics. You don't even win any money. Big deal. You get a little gold thing. I mean, whatever. All for status and fame and whatever. Okay. Good for them. So I was just telling the producer here, I was like watching, literally right before I came to the show, I was watching some Tucker Carlson thing about Thomas Crooks, about how I guess, everybody's saying he had no digital footprint and this and that. And apparently he did have a digital footprint and Tucker found it. And basically it was in the form of, and of course, these are comments on YouTube attributed to this kid. So who knows how valid any of it is.
Right.
But apparently at the beginning of Trump's first term, this Crooks kid was an avid Trump supporter, like threatening to kill Democrats and anybody that disagreed with Trump. And then apparently some point during COVID.
How old was this kid during Trump's first term?
It couldn't have been very old.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been very old. But anyway, at some point during COVID, I guess, the tone of his messages changed. And but the bigger question is, why is the FBI saying none of this exists? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess possibly they don't want you speculating about whatever, but I mean, clearly this kid was a moldable, he was, if he wasn't in MK Ultra, they were looking at him. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, look at this kid.
At this point, any files that the FBI ever refers to, in my opinion, are basically Schrodinger files, meaning they could either be there or not be there. It entirely depended on whether or not you want to look inside the box and see if the cat is dead. Just like the 20,000 files that Pam had on her desk, and then there were no files, and then now there's another. Now the 20,000 files are back.
All right, not that I love to float the wildest conspiracy theories, but here's one that I just heard not too long, or literally yesterday. Somebody says they've seen a picture of Trump performing some oral favors on Clinton.
And the AI videos begin.
But if that's the case, well, here's the other thing. I remember the picture of Dan Bongino leaving that one meeting where apparently they were looking at some Epstein stuff, and he's got this look on his face like, oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. I remember that.
That would if you saw that.
I was looking at, but
yeah, right. I would think that would be the look on my face if I saw a picture of Trump blowing Clinton. I'd be like, oh my God.
All I can picture is the scene in The Shining in the dog costume on the edge of the bed.
Hey man, dude, I wouldn't put it past those people, dude. They all palled around together. I mean, I wonder if any of those people ever went to Bohemian Grove. I mean,
I think Clinton's been there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure both of them. Hillary and Bill. And I think it's supposed to be a guy-only thing, isn't it?
I don't know about that.
Well,
Nixon, thought it was more of an eyes wide
Nixon
shut,
famously
kind of thing. But
you heard what Nixon said about it, right?
No, refresh me.
Oh, on some secret recording, they have him saying like, "Oh yeah, I went to that Bohemian Grove thing. It's all just gay shit." So apparently, it's bunch of wide stance Republicans getting together and having some fun or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, watching right now, both wings of the uniparty seem to be melting down. I couldn't be happier. You got the whole the rift between like the Tucker, Candace, Ian Carroll's. You know, you got that whole side of conservative movement now battling with the moronic MAGA side of the Mark Levin's and the Josh what's his name, Ben Shapiro's and all those guys. So that whole party is imploding. And then you got the Democrats who just went through this whole shutdown thing and got nothing. I mean, they got nothing. They are completely imploding about that. I mean, what was the point?
You see anything about the John Fetterman interview with Katie Couric? She tried to bait him.
I haven't seen the one with Katie Couric. What did he say?
I've just read an article about it. I haven't actually watched the interview.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
According to what I read, she was trying to bait him into trying to get him to say something adverse about Charlie Kirk or about the way Kirk was treated by the administration. She asked him, do you think it was necessary for his body to be flown on Air Force Two? Do you think flags should have been lowered? Do you think President Trump was right in doing this? And his answer, he just refused to get baited by it. He's like, it was his prerogative to do what he wanted to do. It was a pretty good response. And it's just funny that one of the more level-headed response comes from somebody who was openly mocked by the right not that long ago for his possible loss of cognitive ability and wearing sweatpants and shorts and, you know.
Well, he's majorly on the Zionist side, which would, you know, he comes down the wrong side of that. But was this just recently she was asking him about Charlie Kirk, or like it more closer to when he died?
No, I think this was pretty recent.
Really?
I saw the article about it today.
Why would she be asking him about that this far away from? That's kind of interesting. I think she would ask him about his stance about opening the government back up, because he was one of the ones going like, you know, this is all the Democrats' fault. Why? What are they doing? Yeah, that's very odd. Yeah, there's several people now. Like Fetterman now is acting. He's a Democrat that's acting like a Republican. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a Republican, who's acting truthfully more like a Republican, but now is being, you know, treated like she's a Democrat by the Republicans because she's basically not on board with everything Trump's doing. Yeah, it's great. I love to see both wings of the uniparty in total turmoil. Hopefully they'll come up with a third party soon that'll get rid of all the ridiculousness that, it's crazy. Anyway, I have a ton of stuff. Oh, you know, one of the things I wanted to talk about, Ronda Rousey, I don't know what her deal is. I don't know why she made those comments about Joe Rogan or whatever. And Joe Rogan's being very magnanimous about not like striking back. But here's the thing.
As we all know, she does not do well when people strike back.
But dude, that chick she has always been just a bitch, like an unnecessarily mean bitch for no reason. I mean, like, you know, like, look, I mean, I get sometimes in the UFC, you got to kind of pretend to not like somebody to be able to fight them, all right? Like, some guys can go up and shake hands and go, hey, how's it going, buddy? We're about to go beat the shit out of each other, right? All right, cool. And they're cool with each other. Some people can't do that, and I understand it. I probably couldn't. I'd have to, like, kind of get myself pissed at you for whatever reason to fight. But once the fight is over, or if it's somebody you don't have to fight in the first place, why be a bitch? You know, she is just a 24/7 bitch. I don't know what her
utter lack of professionalism. It's like some guys do it for the, you know, for the sport of it, and I guess she just does it for the pure anger of it.
Yeah, I mean, she just does generally seem like a very just bitchy, angry person, because it's like she just takes everything so personal and makes everything so personal. It's just like, chill out, honey. Just relax. You don't have to be such a bitch about everything. But anyway, which is, you know, it's funny because that brings me to like, what, you know, that one thing about the UFC is I loved watching her get knocked out by, you know, Holly Holmes and getting the shit kicked out of her by Amanda Nunes and stuff like that. Just like I loved when like Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor were fighting, because I don't really like either one of those guys. They're just, you know, mouthy, cocky guys. Like, yeah, let's see those guys beat the shit out of each other. It's like there's certain fights. I just saw
a short film or short clip on YouTube maybe 2 days ago, and it was the highlights of the Amanda Nunes fight, and they had put the most wonderful sound effects, and they did it in super slow-mo, so that every time Rousey got punched in the face, it was like boink, boing. You know, it was like video game sound effects and Mario Brothers sound effects. It was great. I watched it 4 times.
You know, and it's funny because there was a point where I was like, Amanda Nunes was so prominent in the woman's weight class that she's in. It's like either move her up a weight class or let her start fighting guys, because she was just beating the shit out of everybody. It was just like, there's nobody that can even touch her, which is funny because I've joked that like she could probably beat my ass, but I met her once and she's not that big. I mean, she's only, she only like came up to my shoulders or whatever, but she could probably still kick my ass. But it's like when you see them on TV, it sure looks like they're a lot bigger. Although that same night that I met her, I did also meet Bigfoot Silva, whatever his name is, and that guy was huge. His hands.
Wanderlei, I think his name.
No,
Wanderlei?
Something Bigfoot Silva. He's the really ugly guy. He's got this big mongoloid head.
He looks like that one professional wrestler, the Big Khalid or something, or maybe it was him.
No, he's a UFC guy. He's a Brazilian guy. But dude, he was sitting there, and I walked up and I put my hand next to his hand, and his hand was literally twice as big as my hand. I was looking at it like, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah,
Right.
if
you
you ever
think of the old Andre the Giant stories, back then they had rotary phones and he had to use pencils to dial because his fingers were too big to put them in the hole to dial the phone.
I'm sure they were, yeah. But yeah, back in the day, if you ever wanted to hang out with those UFC guys, you just had to go play at World of Beers down in Coral Springs or whatever it is out there, and they were always hanging out there. That's where we met a bunch of them.
Needed a bouncer.
What's that?
So the place could probably never needed a bouncer, or nobody would take the job.
No, yeah, that place didn't really. No, they didn't have any bouncers there. It's just a beer place. I mean. Oh, actually, maybe they did have a bouncer now that I think about it. But I don't know. I never saw anybody get out of hand there. It was pretty
much
mellow.
like the guy that, messed with Tyson on the airplane. There's always some drunk idiot that sees
That's true. There's always one sometimes.
And thinks, I'll make myself famous. And yeah, it ends poorly.
This is true. Oh, so did you find that song?
I did. And so he immediately, the song we're talking about is a fake self-deportation ad by Kristi Noem that was on the Tim Dillon episode, and he even announces it as he asked to bring it up. It is AI generated.
Yeah, it's fake, but it's hilarious.
He didn't. I don't think he created it, but somebody.
No, it was some meme central or something like that.
Yeah,
but will we be able to post it in the comments? Do you think?
Well, we can put a.
Well, anyway, it's on. Here, we'll just tell everybody. It's on Tim Dillon, episode 369, 45 minutes in.
45 minutes.
That's where you find it, and it's basically a commercial set to the song "Celebration" by who is that? Kool and the Gang.
Kool and the Gang.
Cool, yep. And it's self-deportation. Come on. We like self-deportation. It's fucking hilarious. I mean, they put all the words together. It is hilarious. Oh, God. I thought it was real. I thought it was really a real. I thought it was like, I wouldn't put it past Trump and those guys to do that. I thought that was completely. Whew.
We are rapidly approaching that where it be exceedingly difficult to tell what is a real and not a real video. I mean, ahead of the curve is always the newest episode of South Park. Those boys are right on it. In this one, as if they couldn't be any more vicious. I really honestly think they're trying to get themselves canceled this year. But in this one, there's a scene with Trump and Vance in bed together.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they claim that the footage is AI generated in order to deny the. So.
Yeah, they're clearly at the "we don't care" stage. They even said that they thanked who is it, Universal or whatever, that's letting them make these episodes. They go, "We thank Universal for letting us do whatever we want." Clearly they're just doing whatever. And I guess I don't know if they have a deal because
it's Paramount, I think.
Oh, yeah, there you go, Paramount. But at some point, I could see Trump administration trying to fine them, which I wonder if they have a deal with Trey and what's his name that, hey, you guys got lots of money, right? You'll kick in if we get fined, right? Because they probably would be like, yeah, we'll give you, if we have to, because they probably paid him a shit ton of money anyway. But yeah, I mean, that's really all they can do is fine him. But I'm sure you're right. They're at the we just don't care anymore. What are they going to do? But have you
been 28 seasons? I think they want to be canceled. I don't think they want to have to do it forever. And what better, People
Well,
always accuse this show went on too long, or they should have ended it this. If they get canceled, they can always say, "Well, that's
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
was
absolutely.
ended
They
for
wanna
us. We
get
didn't have
canceled.
an
Yeah.
option."
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, did you see where Kash Patel's girlfriend is suing a podcaster?
Yeah, Tim Dillon's little rendition of her song too was pretty funny, which took place at like the 47-minute mark, right after he's mocking Kash Patel's
But
girlfriend's
he
song.
just played her
He
song,
brought
though,
it
right?
up and played it, and
He just played her song, though, right?
yeah, but then he started singing,
Yes, yeah.
and changing the lyrics,
Yes,
and
yes, yes,
basically
yes. I remember
singing
that, yes.
Israel.
Yes,
and
yeah.
it was pretty brutal.
Well, the funny thing is, now she's apparently, I think she's pissed at Candace for saying something about it. To which my thought was, wait till Candace starts saying that you have a penis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of the lines he sang was something along the lines of, "I love my husband, Kash Patel. It's not true that Indians smell." Brutal.
It is brutal. And how is that chick even a country singer? Yeah, whatever. Again,
Hey, if Breaking Rust can do it with an algorithm,
Yeah,
why can't the
point,
Mossad do it with a plant?
again, my authenticity sniffer is going off on that one. Oh God. Oh, and then this is the funniest thing. So I'm going through Facebook, and there's a meme out there that basically has the ghost of Epstein whispering in Trump's ear, "The only way you can get out of this now is to join me." Which obviously has got some pretty dark, overtones of what they're suggesting there, which I reposted it and I said, hey, no, it's not that dark. I think Epstein's still alive.
I was just going to say, you mean join me in another country that doesn't have extradition?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's like you can even take a meme that would be really construed as being something very dark and make it into something funny. But yeah, the whole thing. You know what? Here's something I was thinking about the other day. All right, so there's all this talk about civil war and everybody should revolt and do this and that and the other thing. The problem is, I think it's too late. I don't think the only way revolts, revolutions, stuff like that work is if people go, we're going to stop doing what you need us to do, which back in the regular days is either plow the fields, work the factories, whatever it was. The problem nowadays, they don't need us anymore. We can't revolt. We can stop doing whatever we're not doing, and they don't need us. They've replaced the working class. There's nobody to revolt. There's nothing we could do other than violence, and at that point, they've got us outgunned. I mean, we have them outnumbered, but
yeah. To say they have superior technology is a pretty gross understatement.
yeah, I mean, it's gotten to the point where, like, the working class has taken themselves out of the equation. There's really not much working class left that anybody really relies on. It's certainly not the oligarchs or the elites. They don't need any of the people that, I don't know. I don't see much hope for any kind of revolt or civil war. I mean, a civil war would just be basically about the people between the people they don't need. So the elites and the oligarchs, they could care less if there's a civil war. Sure, go ahead and knock yourselves out. It's crazy.
Yeah, technocracy. That's where we're headed.
Yeah, and then if there is any said civil war, that will actually lead to the exact dystopia that Hollywood's been pushing for decades. Speaking of which, I wanted to talk about some Mad Max lore.
Okay.
I was watching a thing that went through the whole Mad Max timeline. And it's funny because I've actually seen something before that suggested something different about the timeline, because even the people that pointed out the timeline, all right, so the last one, I guess, is Furiosa in the timeline. And in that point, the actual Mad Max would have to be like 50, 60 years old, which obviously that Tom Byron or what Tom Hardy character is not.
Tom Hardy, yeah.
So some people have suggested that the Tom Hardy character is the wild boy with the boomerang.
Yeah, I believe that to be true. Yes.
Oh, so you already knew this?
Yeah.
Did you just figure that out on your own, or did somebody tell you that?
I've seen a a YouTube video or something about this a long time ago.
See, I didn't know that. I always figured it was just. But then when they run through the timeline, you're like, yeah, he couldn't possibly be him because he'd be way too old. So yeah, that's interesting.
No, I think it's the little feral boy, which I believe in the credits of the movie he appears in. I think that's what they list him as, feral boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that's his character name. And that's when they say in the Furiosa one, when they ask him, what's your name? And he takes a while and then he just goes Max because he's taken over Max's persona or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mad Max, that's an interesting, I mean, what are there, like 7 movies?
6, I think.
Yeah, there's at least 6. I mean, that's a pretty good run of a franchise in a movie. I mean, how many more franchises get that many? Not a whole lot.
Dude, they made a video game based on Mad Max, and to be honest, it's one of the best movie adaptation games I've ever seen.
Really?
It really is a pretty sweet, very underrated. It's made by Rockstar, so it's kind of like it plays a lot like the fighting plays a lot like the Batman Arkham games. But the road racing parts are really cool. You upgrade your car as you play along, and eventually it starts right at the end of the first one where his car is taken away from him. So it's like it kind of in between movies 2 and 3, I guess, is when it would have taken place.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But the guy that you got doing playing Mad Max's voice, the Australian accent is dead on the money. It's a good game, solid.
And is this a recent game or back in the day?
Huh?
Is this a recent game, or is it from back in the day?
This is probably at least 10 years old, I would say, this game.
Well, that's not that bad. Isn't that? Still decent graphics 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's solid. You can get it on Steam now pretty cheap, too.
Did you see anything about that? I think I posted it on my Facebook page, so you might have seen it. But have you seen anything about a thing called the freeze pipe?
No.
Oh, dude. The pipe technology they got going on now that weed is legal is just insane. All right, so they have this pipe that basically you put a section of it in your freezer. And then when you're ready to use it, you put that section in the pipe, and it's like this weird, it's like one of those auto, where you kind of draw the hit in, and then you take the hit kind of things or whatever.
Like
I put it up on my
chamber that chills the smoke before you take it in?
Yes. Basically, yeah, it brings it in a chamber, cools it off, and then you hit it. So, yeah, something like that. But, dude, I mean, the look at this pipe, this is just the technology that somebody put into making this pipe has got to be like, it's pretty insane. It's like, first of all, it looks really steampunk. It's like all these different chambers and pipes and stuff going on. It's pretty crazy, man.
Absolutely living in the future when it comes to marijuana, THC, cannabis. When you go to a dispensary these days, the range of products is just ridiculous.
Oh, I know.
They have, just like a nicotine patch, they have THC patches, so you can slow release it. They've got, sublingual tinctures, topical ointments. I've even seen sex lube with THC infused in it at a dispensary.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So they basically any possible way you can think of getting it into your system, they've got it, except for injectable, which I don't think you can.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that anyway.
Yeah, they don't sell that.
But didn't you say that when last episode when you talking about some drink that has THC in it too now?
Yeah. THC infused sodas. You can get them at like Total Wine and liquor stores, probably even some gas stations.
Whatever happened with Texas in that? Do you know? Because they were trying to outlaw the THC food and saying it was like packaged for children and stuff.
I don't know about that. It's funny. I even read the list of ingredients yesterday because I still got a couple of cans left. And I was shocked at how, like, there's no artificial flavors. It was all natural fruit extracts and cane sugar. And like, wow, they actually made this thing pretty decently. And then, hemp-derived cannabinoids, it says.
And it's in a can, so it won't go bad, right?
Yeah, no.
Huh, interesting.
Tastes like a Fresca, like grapefruit flavored. The one I got, anyway.
And did you feel the effects of it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And is it more like edibles than smoking?
Absolutely. Yep. but it hits way faster than most edibles do, and that's weird and odd to me. Like, gummies and chocolates and brownies and things like that, they typically take sometimes even more, an hour or more. But those drinks are like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah, maybe it's just because you process liquids faster or something. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe just because it's in liquid form, and that actually is true probably because tinctures and stuff don't take as long as things that you have to digest either.
All right, so what do you think about the 50-year mortgage? Here's what I'm thinking. What they're going to do is they're going to try to make it very hard to do anything but a 50-year mortgage, if you need a mortgage. But I'm thinking as long as they don't have like a prepayment penalty, we may end up having to, like, at least for temporarily, take a 50-year mortgage just to get a better price on a house. Because I think that's what they're going to do.
At what point are they going to face reality? I mean, does that mean only people under the age of 40 will be able to get a mortgage? Because how many people make it to 100?
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
Somebody in their 50s a 50-year mortgage.
Here's the thing. I don't know anybody. Well, I know a few people, but most people don't make it to the end of a 30-year mortgage. Nobody usually owns a house more than 5 or 10 years, especially nowadays. Very few. Well, I don't know. I'd have to look up on the stats of that, but I would say not that many people even make it to a 30-year mortgage. So that's what they're kind of doing, is they're dealing with these people that, all right, well, we got this much left. And that's apparently the way they want you to live from now on, and not just sit around and pay off your mortgage and then own your house. So I don't know. But my point being that I think what they're going to do is they're going to incentivize people to use these crazy mortgages. They're going to offer the houses at a lot lower price, maybe offer to pay for closing, do all this stuff, where it might make it really great on the front end, make it really look great, which it might be great on the front end. Like, look, you can get in this house for almost nothing. The payments are low, but then, you don't want to have to pay for it for, obviously the first payments of any mortgage like that are almost all principal. So any is, and making
interest.
Yeah, interest. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you're not going to want to make too many payments before you just pay the thing off if you have that capability. But that's the only thing that I'm worried about, is they'll make it like prepayment penalties or unable to prepay it off or something like that. But, yeah, I don't know. But in the good news is not only are house prices not going up anymore, they're actually kind of coming down, but rental prices are coming way down. Just in the last couple of days, I've seen a lot of rental places dropping their asking prices by like $500. So rental prices are coming down very quickly because nobody can afford this. We were just talking to a producer. Nobody can afford to pay $5,000 to rent a house. It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah, 50-year mortgage is like, you talk about the fact that who's going to live long enough to pay it? Who's going to live long enough to collect it? Who's giving out 50-year mortgages? You're not going to live for 50 years. Who's going to collect it after you die? So yeah, I mean
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean because I hold a mortgage, but luckily it's only a 5-year mortgage. But yeah. I wouldn't, if somebody said, yeah, we want to hold a mortgage on something for 50 years, I'd be like, yeah, it'd be kind of pointless for me. I'm not going to live for 50 more years. You know what? I was watching Rogan the other day, and he and his boys just sit around and they use this term that pisses me off all the time, and they do it all the time, and they go, yeah, there ought to be a law. No, we have plenty of laws. We have plenty of laws already. Don't say
tens of thousands of them.
Yeah. I forget what he was talking about on his show, and he's like, yeah, there ought to be a law. And I'm like, no, there shouldn't be a law. You're talking about it. You're educating people about it right now. Just don't do it. If it's a bad idea, just don't do it. We don't need a law to tell people not to do bad ideas. Just don't do them. Anyway, I forget what he was talking about, but I've noticed that on his show and a bunch of other shows, they'll be talking like, yeah, there should be a law. No. Never anybody says that. No, there shouldn't be a law. There should be less laws, a lot less laws. Anyway. And did you see that Trump's in trouble now for supporting the bringing over a bunch of Chinese students on visas?
No.
Oh yeah, he was. He did. Oh, dude, he did a Megyn Kelly interview that went really badly for him. If it's literally showing the cracks in MAGA, because Megyn Kelly was pushing back pretty hard on him. Matter of fact, she was asked. They were asking. She was asking him something about Israel, and he started talking about how. Or no, was it Israel or China? She was talking about tariffs, and he was talking about how France was ripping us off with tariffs, and she's like, "Well, yeah, but France is our allies," and like, "Oh, well, I don't know, I don't know," and she goes, "Isn't France better than China?" And Trump is there going like, "Well, I don't know, man. France has done some stuff." Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You should.
Well, you know, the number of Chinese international students that are, in fact, engaging in some sort of either, government espionage or industrial espionage, it's not an insignificant number.
No, of course
I'm not saying that that they do it because they even want to, but sometimes they have no choice.
No, it's not even. Yeah, it's not even a thing with them. It's like, yeah, we're Chinese. Of course, we're buying. They'll probably tell you straight up. That's what they told us to come to do. I mean, that's why we're here. We're here to get an education and spy as much as we can. I mean, that should be just like a common knowledge thing. That
you don't just come home with a degree. You have to come home with some kind of IP.
Intel. Yeah, if you don't come home, you're getting debriefed one way or the other when you get back. You got to have something to tell them. Yeah, it's like that's even a question. Is anyway. So how did I want to frame this? This is funny. This like, all right. So drugs are illegal because they're addictive, right? For the most part, or that's the theory. So I don't know how I framed how it was. I can't remember how I was going to frame this, but it's like a lot of people like compare like being a drug addict to like having heart disease. It's not their fault. It's a disease or something like that. And a lot of people are, oh, that's a bullshit. You should just be, have willpower and be able to stop. Well, I think there are I'm not sure that anybody has enough willpower to do everything, like to stop everything. Like I have a lot of willpower, but I still bite my nails. I hate the fact that I bite my nails. I'd love to stop biting my nails if I could, but I just, for whatever reason, I can't stop doing it. So if they made that illegal, I could go to jail for life. If society said, the fact that you bite your nails is a crime, there'd be nothing I could do. I should just go ahead and check into jail because there'd be no way I could stop myself from ever biting my nails other than, I don't know, like truss them up or something maybe. I don't know. But it's just like, just trying to point out how stupid the whole drug war is. Like, people that are addicted to whatever they're addicted to, whether it be drugs or McDonald's or smoking or alcohol or whatever it is, you can't just make it illegal because somebody's addicted to it. That's not going to stop anybody. That's not how. I don't know. There was a greater point I had to make when I wrote down this scratchy thing I can barely read. But yeah, I always write stuff down thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to make this point so succinctly, and then I get here and I'm like, wait a minute, what was I thinking about then?
I should have written down just a little bit more.
Yeah, but
instead of just a prompt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I think it's a great idea, and then when I get back to it, I'm like,
yeah. What was I going to say there?
Much meat there on that bone as I thought.
Yeah.
Here's a quick wacky news story. Mississippi almost got to join Florida as far as having its own little monkey population. Apparently a truck crash or something, like 21 rhesus monkeys, and 3 of them got away for quite a while, but I think the last one, and they killed them all. I guess the last one finally got shot. But that made me look up, like monkeys in North America or in the United States. And of course, there's no native ones, but right. Florida does have 2 different hot spots. In Silver Springs, there's like 175 rhesus macaques that have established a colony there. And then in Dania Beach, there's 40 vervet monkeys that have a little thing going on. And then the only other place with a substantial is a place called Morgan Island in South Carolina. And it's got like 4,000.
Oh.
But those monkeys were actually put there so that there would be a sustainable breeding population on an island that they could continue to do research on. Those weren't, it's not like they escaped and then set it up on their own. It was kind of set up for them.
Did you
But
see?
I guess they can't swim well enough to get off the island, I suppose. But
I'm going to actually tell you about how well they swim in just a minute. But first, did you see who killed the last of the herpes monkeys or whatever?
no.
Dude, it was some little black mother. Apparently, she had a gun.
Oh,
and
in Mississippi? Yeah.
Yeah, some little black lady. But I just saw a video on a Reels or something of people that were like, I want to say maybe the Peace River or some kind of river like that, in Florida.
Yes, where the macaques are jumping into the water.
Yes, jumping in and swimming across, like en masse. Like all of a sudden it was raining monkeys out of the trees. They're all jumping in the water and swimming across. So they do swim.
I mean, they can definitely swim, but I don't think they can swim real far. I mean, I don't know how
I don't think they
isolated
like
this
to
Morgan
swim.
Island is.
What's that?
I don't know how isolated the Morgan Island in South Carolina is to where they feel safe that it will contain the monkeys.
Well, and I mean, if you look, there's those monkeys in Japan that just hang around in the water. Of course, that's where it's the warmest, right. Since they're in their thermal springs and they're in the mountains. But I mean, monkeys, when if they have to, they'll get in the water. Which begs, I mean, like if you ever go to any place where they have chimps or gorillas, they do just kind of put a moat around them, and they don't seem to want to cross the moat for whatever reason. But I'm sure they could if they had to. Yeah. I mean, I've seen.
I mean, one of the theories for how humans lost all of our body hair was that we spent a great deal of time evolving in coastal areas where we spent so much time in the water that the hair was no longer needed. We were kept warm by the water.
Well, I was thinking about that. I mean, literally, if you lived down here before air conditioning, I wouldn't get out of the water in the summer very much. I'd be in the water pretty much almost the whole time going like, look, it's too hot not to be in the water. And not only that, you'd have to find some like cool water. You can't just, sometimes you get in a, like canal or something and the water's hotter than the air, so you'd almost have to, be near the ocean or something where you could get in some water that's at least relatively cool. And
even when the water's warm, if you get in and out real quick, the evaporation of the water off of your skin helps some. So just keep getting in and out.
Or even just dumping it over your head, if nothing else. But I couldn't imagine if there wasn't air conditioning, I'd be in the water all the time. That's kind of how I keep my electric bill down now. Is like I'll keep it like, and you'll notice my house is a little warm, but if I get too warm, I'll just go jump in the pool, and then it seems very cool. Even without, turning the AC down or anything. So, yeah, I mean, as long as you got something but swimming monkeys, I don't see why not. Just a matter of necessity. I mean, I do like to swim, I guess. I need to go swimming more often. Dude, you know what? I got to go buy some clothes, dude. I haven't bought any clothes in so long. I just hate it so much. You would think that I would be great for online shopping with clothes, especially, but I don't think I do.
My sister just moved recently, and when I was helping her like get stuff out of her house, she had tremendous amount of coat hangers that were she just had all these extra coat hangers, all pretty good ones, plastic ones. And I still had I thought only a handful of metal ones. So I took a bunch of her coat hangers. I came home and I started swapping out the ones I had that were metal. And since I was doing that anyway, and I remembered how we talked about how many shirts we had to be doing for these podcasts, I did a quick inventory and counted my shirts. And I'm almost ashamed to say that, not counting T-shirts, which I'm wearing a T-shirt today, but not counting T-shirts, I have 60 shirts.
Yeah,
both long sleeve and short, but those are all like either button ups or polos or whatever, and that's not counting sweaters and jackets. And I have too many shirts.
I probably, I have a lot that I just don't wear a lot. I mean, a lot of them are just stupid stuff that I probably would only wear on stage but I probably have at least maybe 20 or 30 shirts, maybe. Not including T-shirts. But even still, I mean, we've done 40-something episodes now, right?
43, I believe.
You're gonna run out sooner or later.
I looked at our YouTube stats the other day to see it. And it's like I think all total with all of our episodes, it's not a very great number, but if you added up all the views from all the episodes, it was like 1,600, 1,574, something like that.
How many? What's that?
That's the total number of views that our channel has.
Oh,
like
views.
1,574.
Oh, really?
But
Well,
that's
you know,
split amongst,
again,
like, at the time, I believe it was 40. I think we had 40 uploaded or 41.
well, again, I'm completely baffled about how any of that is tallied, because I remember when we first started and we had YouTube saying we had like 200 views on some of them, and we have any of them that have 200
those
views.
first 4 episodes that unfortunately had to take them down and put them back up with the new intro music.
Right.
All of the first 4 all had more views than they got once they were re-uploaded.
Yeah, but we haven't had any of them get that many views.
No.
But we may have one of our best.
Our Patrick Kendrick episode has pretty good.
Speaking of which, he may be
well
coming
over
back.
100.
He may be coming back in a week or so. We'll see.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. So what else we got to talk about? Weather's awfully nice today. What's the temperature up there?
Get brutally cold here. It was 28 degrees.
Really?
2 days ago. Yeah.
Oh, days ago, not today.
No, not today. It warmed up nicely today.
Yeah, but it's still, well, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's still in like the 60s, 70s up there, right?
Right now, Alexa, what's the current temperature?
Right now, it's 67 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, we're up to 67.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably in the 80s here right now. Maybe high 70s, late 80s, because the sun is out. It's banging. Yeah, I almost rode the bike, but it's just too early. I didn't want to have to wheel it out and everything. See, today, this kind of weather is where I need the garage. See, if I had a garage, the top would be off the Jeep. It's perfect weather for having the top off the Jeep. I could take it off where I am now, but then I got to find somebody to help me take it off. Just kind of set it in the parking lot behind the Jeep. Nowhere to really put it.
Yeah, on Saranac, you had that lift or that whatever that thing was for taking the top off.
Yeah, it was just an engine hoist thing. Yeah. But even anywhere, all I need is really like some hooks on the ceiling to use like straps. I mean, all you got to do is lift the top that far and drive the Jeep out from under it. I mean, it's like, But what was I just going to say? Oh, and we were talking about looking at some commercial properties. I actually found a place. It's not in the best neighborhood. It's in West Palm Beach, like somewhere, I think it's like Northwest 8th or 9th Street. So basically, like if you were on Palm Beach Lakes and Australian and went south, it'd be like just to the east of that in there somewhere. But it was basically a church, or like a kind of like a church, like a small church, and then another building in the back. But dude, we could have got this. I mean, I think it's supposedly an auction, but the auction only starts at like $150K. Like I could almost write a check for that, and we could. Now, I mean, obviously, it would need some work after that, but we could do a lot with a property like that. All right. Well, one of the last things I guess we could talk about is I guess it was just Veterans Day or whatever. And I don't know why, but some guy was posting some stuff about the flag, about how he's so loyal to the flag and this and that. And I just don't get the flag worshipers. It's just a piece of cloth. They seem to worship this piece of cloth while completely ignoring what it represents, which is the Constitution. Right? I mean, I don't understand these people that get...
Some symbols have more meaning for some people than they do for others.
Yeah, and these are people that, I mean, the guy I'm speaking about is an ex-service guy, and there are a lot of ex-service guys that seem very loyal to the flag, but the thing is, they didn't pledge an oath to the flag. They pledged an oath to the Constitution, which is just doesn't, and yet they seem more concerned with the flag. I mean, I don't think anybody in the armed services pledges. I mean, we all pledged allegiance to a flag when we were in elementary school, but they don't make you pledge to a flag when you go in the service. They make you pledge to the Constitution, right?
I don't know. It never served. They may be, they might have been more indoctrinated into the whole concept of the flag. I mean, there certainly is a lot of ritual in how it's folded and presented and all of that. So it doesn't surprise me that people in the military would have a stronger opinion about the flag than your average American.
Maybe it's left over from the days when there were, in fact, in-battle flag bearers. Maybe that's what it is. There's some leftover sense of importance because of it being displayed in battle or something. But, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, that certainly wouldn't. I mean, railing about it on Facebook.
I can see how people that served, that, you know, what distinguishes them from other troops around them is, if nothing else, the insignia of the flag. The flag. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they have a stricter view of what can and can't, or what's proper or improper to be done with an American flag.
Well, now that you mentioned that, what kind of amazes me is that so many people that pledge, you know, so much fealty to the said flag, yet they'll also support the cops that walk around with that thin blue line flag, which is by virtue completely traitorous. That is not the American flag. That is, you know, that does not, you know, reflect the Constitution or America or anything. It just reflects cops looking out for each other. You know, screw the public. We're just going to make sure we get home all right, you know, which, you know, they don't seem to have any problem with that, which I don't know. Well, some of them do. You know, there's this guy on Facebook. He's kind of, I think his Facebook page or some page he's got is called High Impact or something like that. And he does a lot of like of the not only auditors that get like their rights trampled, but all kinds of different stuff like that. He's actually been talking a lot about the Candace and the Charlie Kirk thing. Oh yeah, we can't not go without talking about the latest thing about the Charlie Kirk thing. Did you see where now they're saying, or somebody's saying, that Erica Kirk got paid $400,000, you know, almost like $500,000 for doing something. And also there's apparently right before Charlie Kirk got killed, they were just about to do a giant audit on Turning Point USA. And apparently some people are saying that wasn't going to turn out well, because apparently Charlie Kirk had a bunch of questions about where's all this money we're getting going to and this, that, and the other thing, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, the whole Charlie Kirk thing is not going away, just like the Epstein thing ain't going away. But yeah, it's strange times we're living in, brother.
Yeah, the link you sent me with the title "Pretty Damning Evidence About the Epstein Files." Yeah,
really? Did you watch it?
I did.
Remind me what was in it. I've been watching. Yeah, I'm just so saturated with so much of this junk.
It was mostly legal strategies between Michael Wolff and Epstein regarding how they should play the whole situation. This was when Trump was still running for his second term, and whether they should play up to him or play down, depending on.
And here's the thing. All right, we're at the point now.
Going to win or not? You know, either provide aid to him or throw him under the bus, depending on which way it was going to go.
Here's the thing. We're at the point now where Trump cannot possibly deny he knew what was going on. He can't say, I didn't know.
You know, didn't redact the name. They clearly, in one of the emails, stated that Trump spent hours at Mar-a-Lago with Virginia, which had to have been Virginia Giuffre.
But don't forget, he can always play his "I was an informant" card. I mean, and then which plays into the how are they prosecuting James Comey, who was Trump's boss while he was president as the informer? I mean, he's got to, if Comey's got to know where all the bodies are buried. How are they screwing with that guy? I'm not saying that they don't have probably some evidence of some wrongdoing of his. I'm sure he did something wrong, but he knows of all the stuff that they did wrong. So, I mean, how do they think they're going to screw with him and get away clean? Unless, I mean, you know, it's funny is, you know, we started the show with the fact that the South Park guys just don't care anymore. Maybe Trump's at the exact opposite end of the spectrum. He don't care anymore either. Like, screw it. This is my last term. You know, I'll be lucky to live through this anyway. He's definitely not going to be able to do another term. But it's like maybe he's just like, screw it. I just don't care anymore. Let them find out whatever they find out and think whatever they want to think. And I don't know, but MAGA definitely seems to be absolutely fractured, if not completely falling apart, as well as whatever's going on with the Democratic Party. I mean, who do you think is the leader of the Democratic Party now?
I don't know.
Some people say it's Hakeem
Nobody
Jeffries.
really stands out in my mind.
Well, a lot of people say it's Hakeem Jeffries, or as we know him, Apac Shakur. But I mean, I guess it was Schumer for a while, but he's done after this whole shut down the government and achieve absolutely nothing. So he's done with that. I don't know if you saw. I put something up where he was debating somebody on the floor of Congress and had to just leave. He like literally was. I don't know if he was losing the debate so badly, or maybe he just had another appointment. But he was like mid debate, just walks off from the podium and leaves. It's like, hey, that wasn't even. They weren't even done yet, and he was getting his ass kicked on this debate.
He was done.
Yeah, I think he is done because I think even the Democrats are like, nah, we're done with him. So like, I mean, who is the rising star of the? Is it Fetterman? I mean, could he be the face of the Democratic Party?
Dark horse coming from behind, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they say this Mandami guy is like, he could be like the next Obama, but I think they want to keep him in New York. I don't see where they would.
Well, he's not I mean, they would have to change he wasn't born in the United States.
That's right.
And
That's
before
right.
you
I
say
forgot
neither
about
was
that.
Obama,
Right.
which is funny, but yeah, I mean, his birth records are quite clear on this.
I forgot all about that. Yeah. So I mean, who is it? I mean, you remember that kid from Parkland that was in the shooting?
Gavin Newsom and AOC.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't think Gavin Newsom's gonna. I think he's got too much baggage. But you could have said that about Donald Trump. So who the hell knows? But that one little kid was a rising star for a while. That David Hoggs or whatever his name is, that kid from Parkland. You know what I'm talking about?
No idea who you're talking about.
He was in the Parkland shoot. He was going to school when they had the shootout in Parkland. And he and dude, it's funny. I was talking to the producer before this. At like 16 or 17 years old, when that shit happened, when they were interviewing him, it was already completely apparent this kid was going to be a politician. There's no doubt. Like he was being, I don't know if you have to be groomed for it or if you just have to mentally think that's what I want to do at that age. But he was like slick on the TV, all the right talking points. Dude, they almost elected him head of the Democratic Party. Literally just like 6 months ago or a year ago or something like that. He was up
in high school. I remember guys in the debate club that were clearly marked to be politicians. Like it was obvious they just had the gift of gab and the
not only that,
and yeah, they
were from Palm Beach though too, weren't they?
Well, yeah, some of them.
Yeah. I went to kids with all kinds of kids that you could tell they were from Palm Beach. They were being groomed like the Kennedys. Their parents are like, yeah, you're going to go into politics. We need somebody like you in Congress to help us with our oligarchy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I went to school with kids like that for sure. They were absolutely lining up to be politicians. Although I've never seen any of them emerge in any sort of political spotlight of any kind. That'd be interesting. All right, well, I got to get home. I'm hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet.
Go home and take a nap.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, actually. I kind of napped all the way up until the time. I actually woke up at like 2 o'clock this morning or something. It's just, I think one of the things, I think I should get my prostate checked because I think that's why I get up so early sometimes is I don't even realize it at first. Like I'll wake up and not even realize it, but then be there a while going like, oh, I guess I got to pee. So I think it's just the urge, a slight urge, not even a urgent urge, just a slight urge to pee keeps waking me up early in the morning. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to find some pretty lady that wants to check my prostate.
Stark's getting old.
Yeah, right. All right, we'll see you next time.
All right, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe, all those good things. Call us, leave us a message at 904-549-9024.
Right. I always want to say 954 because that's like a Miami exchange, isn't it?
Nah, I'm not sure. I know it's somewhere in Florida.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, 904-549-9024. And I'm trying to convince the funniest guy I know who won't come on the show because he's got a day job to try and call and leave us something funny, but we'll see what happens. All right, we'll catch you next time, guys.
Yep. Thanks, guys.